And how handsome you look in that suit.
Prostitution, rape, drug trafficking, human body trafficking, arson, and theft. All of these are examples of nonviolent crimes. To quote Matt Cate, the executive director of California State of California State of Associations of Counties, contributed to an article called Prisoners and Parolees, January 1st, 2011. He stated that over 33 prisons in California, there were roughly 75,799 inmates who were labeled nonviolent. This is about 46% of the entire population. Now, if you listen to me during the speech, you can have an impact on whether these nonviolent criminals will have a chance for early parole, and as well as save tens of millions of dollars of taxpayer money due to wasteful spending to house these nonviolent inmates. I have personal experience with this because I have an uncle who has been in and out of prison for nonviolent drug-related crimes. Now, there's three main things I want to touch on about Proposition 57. The first one being a brief history on it, on how it became to ballot. Second one being the economical impact that it can have if it's passed. And lastly, some of the potential social hazards that may occur if it's passed. Now, Proposition 57 is an ongoing byproduct of an ongoing effort in trying to decrease the size of California prisons. In 2006, there was two ongoing cases, Plata versus Brown and Coleman versus Brown. Both of these cases, the inmate was not able to receive proper health care that they needed due to the overpopulation. 2009, the Supreme Court ordered that the California Department of Corrections and Rehab bring down the population size to 137.5% of its maximum capacity. At the time, it was extremely over that point. So 2011, California Department of Corrections and Rehab was given a 2-year window to complete this. In 2014, they knew that they weren't going to hit their markers, so they proposed Proposition 46, which stated that they would take some of these low-risk felonies and relabel them as misdemeanors. And what that did was limit the amount of people going into the California prisons, which was a great job on their part. However, it didn't reach their 137.5% they're aiming for. So now we're at Proposition 57, where inmates are given the chance to get early parole if they first serve their initial sentence and then meet milestones on their education, their behavior in prison, and lastly, if they're getting into self-help programs. Now, the Legislative Analyst's Office, who's responsible for overseeing the fiscal budget of California, they came out with an article in 2008 labeled "How much does it cost to incarcerate a prison?" Surprise, I found the statistic for how much it costs to imprison or house an inmate for the year, and that figure is $47,000. Now, that's only one inmate. As I stated, there are 75,799 inmates in 2010 that were labeled nonviolent. If you do the math, this is about $3.5 billion that they're spending on these nonviolent inmates to house them for the year. This spending can go towards reconstructing roads, it can go to veteran programs, it can go to welfare programs, it can go to college students with more financial aid opportunities, and the list goes on. Now, some of the potential risks of passing Proposition 57. Though they're labeled nonviolent, this does not truly make them nonviolent. Some of them are rapists, some of them commit lewd acts on a child, and so on. So finding housing can be difficult for some of these inmates getting out. If they did get imprisoned for rape or one of those child molestation, they cannot live a quarter mile to half a mile from a school, an elementary school, a playground, kindergarten, anywhere where children are involved, they can't live half a mile to a quarter mile from there. So, I mean, there's a park here, school here, another school here, they're gonna have trouble finding where to live. So that can contribute to the increasing growth of homelessness that's occurring right now in Los Angeles County. Yeah. So, I lost where I'm at. Okay, and so the social problems. Alright, and so Proposition 57, as I stated, was an ongoing effort in decreasing the population size of California prisons. This is an ongoing effort arising from 2006. Firstly, what I informed you on was the history and how Proposition 57 came to ballot. Secondly, we went over briefly the economical good that Proposition 57 could have, and lastly, some of the potential hazard of passing Proposition 57. Thank you.